Today I'm going to be talking about the killings of. Actually, whoops, that's a little, my bad. Today I'm going to be talking about the killings of Christians in Nigeria. This has been going on since, the research I've been doing, since it's been going on since 2015, but it's been more of a major public problem since 2020, as everyone's starting to realize now that the corruption of everything towards every religion in Nigeria. And in the research of the www.daylive.com, the Muslims in Nigeria are wanting to take over Nigeria to convert everyone, and if they're not converting, then they just have like mass genocides, basically. So as of 2020, the deaths of the Christians. So in 2020 it was around 3,600, and then into 2021 it spiked up very largely, over 4,000. That was the year that the group, the armed Fulani herdsmen, that's whenever they were introduced, was 2021, and that's when all the killings started to happen. And then 2022 was whenever another group called the Boko Haram, they started to include in trying to take over people's lives and land as people were not cooperating. And then 2024 is starting to die down a little because people are starting to make their own militias and own groups are trying to attack back to take what their land was and believe in their own beliefs. But yeah, so the peak was almost 5,000 out of all of the years, which is pretty bad, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think anyone deserves to die over what they believe or what others believe. So here's the terrorist groups. So out of all the bombings and mass genocides that have happened, so according to www.globalchristianrelief.org, the Fulani herdsmen, 55%, the blue, the blue pie on the pie chart, that is the armed Fulani herdsmen. That's 55% of the people that are killing all the other beliefs in Nigeria, responsible for all the deaths. I also looked up more, and there was a lot of not as big but smaller groups of terrorists, so they just combined them as other terrorist groups, which brought up to about 29% of all the mass murders and linkings to. And then the Boko Haram and ISWAP group, about 8%. The ISWAP was another variant of the Boko Haram group, as they came more from the Middle Eastern to come down into Nigeria. So that's basically what they were doing. So from the www.catholicmassnewsagency.com, about average since 2025, the start of 2025, 7,087 have been killed so far into the year, which is averaging 30 killed a day. That's not, I don't think that's including most of what it probably is. And then over 7,800 have been abducted so far this year too, including, that's 35 abductions a day. And that's starting to become more of a issue too, of how they're starting to kill the people is abducting them and then so far bringing them into bigger groups and so forth. So the most common is mass shootings. They go and just fire line them. They use suicide bombers, which are mostly women and children, which I think is really sad because about 60% of their sabotages are suicide bombers. So basically they're killing the women and children very rapidly using this strategy. Kidnapping has grown most popular as of recently. They have been known to set arson a lot on the villages too, along with setting schools, setting churches, most of the big buildings on fire. So then the people are becoming homeless and have starvation and have nowhere to go. And last, they have a lot of assassinations of leaders, of people fighting back, mostly including priests. If you're not a Muslim, like Muslim tradition in that Nigeria, they will kill you in that sense. And as of 2025, there's 54% of the population of Nigeria were Christian, and they have dropped down to 45% now. And as of this year, the Muslims actually flip-flopped. They were 45% of the population, now they're 54%. So they kind of did a little flip-flop there. But that's from www.catholicnewsagency.com. So, yeah. And then these are my references.